6 expensive home repairs that are worth the money. That's today's show. Let's dive into it.
Here we are at our very first rental property.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. We're going to talk about those 6 expensive home repairs. So at the end of today's episode, you're going to know how much money you should put into a rental property. We're talking rental properties here. We're not talking about the ones where you're going to live in them. At the end of today's show, though, you'll have an idea how much money you need to spend. Hey everyone, I'm Clayton Morris, longtime real estate investor, and I, in 2017, left my day job, left the 9-to-5, the rat race, to focus exclusively on financial freedom and creating passive income. Now, it's my goal to try to help you build financial freedom and passive income in your life. So please subscribe. If you're not already a subscriber, there's tons of great resources here for you to take action and become a real estate investor. I believe it's the number one way to build wealth. So one of the big questions I get on a regular basis is how much upgrading should I do on a rental property? I'm buying this particular property. What should I do? And a lot of different philosophies on this, and the way that me, along with many of the mentors that I have in the real estate world, the millionaire real estate investors who've trodden a well-worn path before me. Okay, this is not me being a genius in any way. This is many people who have done this before me, have managed to make sure that they are not spending too much money on a rental property. You don't want to ever over upgrade a rental property. You want to get it in rent ready condition so that it's in keeping with the neighborhood, but it is not in advance of the neighborhood. What does that mean? Well, you wouldn't necessarily want to put all like a Nest learning thermostat or other bells and whistles in a property that you don't need to put in that property because the neighborhood doesn't demand it. Now, having said that, there are situations where, for instance, if I buy a C-class neighborhood, some of my favorite, I want to buy in areas where I'm seeing the transition start to unfold, right? The new shopping centers are coming in there. Some new employment is coming in there. A new hospital is opening. And so that C-class neighborhood is maybe on its way up a little bit. And then over the years, remember you own the property, so maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now, you can invest by putting a little bit more into this property. But don't do it now. There's no reason to. But there are key elements of a rental property to make sure that you're not a slumlord, that you're not sitting there with properties that are going to have all kinds of problems down the line. You want a safe, great place for your tenant to live. And these 6 areas are key for giving the safety of your property and making sure that you're keeping your investment sound for many years to come. So I'm a big believer in making sure that some of this stuff is taken care of up front. That way you don't have major repairs to worry about for 10 to 15 years, okay? So let's dive into it. Number 1 on my list is paint. Paint. Now, it seems like an inexpensive investment. Actually, paint can be expensive, and to get it done properly can be pricey. But the one area we actually see one of the highest returns on investment in a property is paint, right? It seems silly, but it's absolutely true. I've bought plenty of properties where all it took was a nice paint job and a cleanup, and that property is back to being top-notch again. I didn't have to do all kinds of extra things on that property. So just a simple paint job on a property, yes, can be pricey, but to do it properly can be a little pricey. So what do I look for? I like neutral colors in my properties, keeping them consistent. Because if you do a lot of rental properties, buy one kind of paint, get it registered at your local paint store. That's what we do, so that our contractors go down there. They know exactly the paint color to pick up. There's no mystery about it. So gray is a real popular paint color right now. It's very easy. It'll make the property inside look just spectacular, because especially if you've got white trim along the baseboards, really nice white trim with that gray paint color, it's going to look really sharp. You could also do just a neutral sort of beige color wall as well. Remember, you want it to be consistent. You want it to be neutral. You do not want to paint a wall red. Don't do that. I had a friend in Orlando, Florida one time and went over a beautiful dining room, but it was painted red, red, red. And then they went to sell the property. And in order to try to get that paint color, I mean, you have to cover it so many times with primer. And my father lived in Buffalo, New York, where it was always snowy and cold. And he said he bought a property one time years ago, and somebody had painted the room like a dark, dark purple. He said it took him like can after can of paint to cover up that purple paint. So don't do that. Stick with a neutral color and you'll be better for it. But that's number one, is paint. Number two, countertops. Now, granite countertops. In fact, we saw about a 4% increase in overall home sales if you put granite countertops in a property. But again, I would reserve granite countertops for more of your B class, B plus property, okay? Now, I own plenty of properties that have granite countertops, but I don't put them in unless the property demands it. But again, putting in nice Formica countertops that can be, slightly inexpensive, but they're going to pop and look really nice. There's plenty of Formica countertops now that actually look like granite. So spend a little bit more money to get countertops that are going to pop a little bit. But granite will add value to the property. So again, you want to spend money on countertops if the house and the neighborhood dictate that you should be spending that money. The third area where you want to spend a little bit of money to make sure that that house pops, certainly in a rental market or if you're actually selling the home, and that is cabinets. Cabinets, just go the extra mile, put in some updated cabinets. They can cost you a little bit of money, but I think you'll find that if you're smart about where you're getting your cabinets, sometimes you can work with contractors that get great deals with local wholesalers. That's what we do. So we're not buying them off the shelf. We have contractors who have great contacts at different companies in town, and you're going to get those nice shaker cabinets. Brand new cabinets, though, are going to pop. They're going to pop. They're just going to look good. You're going to pay a little bit more. Obviously, the labor involved in hanging those cabinets is where some of the extra additional expense will come from. But don't go cheap. Don't go cheap. Sometimes you will find in a property that if you have like nice wood cabinets, nice, really strong, sturdy wood cabinets that have been there since the 1950s, 1960s, you can refinish those because very often those are sturdy as hell. I mean, those are great cabinets, right? Solid wood, sturdy as hell, older cabinets. Just put some new furnishings on the front of it. Just put some new hardware on the front and refinish it with a cabinet person that knows what they're doing, and it'll save you some money on some of that upgrade. And the cabinets, guess what? Because they're solid wood, they're going to last a long time anyway. So no need to rip those old cabinets out. Just update some of the hardware, and it can really pop in your rental property. Another area where you don't want to go cheap is the bathroom vanity. That's number 4. Just spend a little money. Again, I say expensive relative to other items in the property, but a bathroom vanity is just going to make your bathroom pop in the same way that your kitchen cabinets and kitchen countertops are going to make it pop. And you don't have to go expensive. You can get a nice white solid vanity with a nice round sink and a nice mirror above it with some nice lights, and you are good to go. Don't go crazy, but you do want to upgrade that bathroom so it has a nice fresh feeling to that clean bathroom. Number 5 on my list, very important, is the roof. Now, tenants don't care about a roof, okay, unless there's water leaking on their head, right? Know that a life of a roof, you're going to get anywhere between, 20 to 30 years of the life of a brand new roof. So if your roof is edging into the 22-year range, you're going to have to put in a new roof sooner or later. Now, don't go cheap. Don't just put little patches here and there and hope that you're going to get by for many, many years to come. It's very often much cheaper and smarter to just do it all at once. Put on the new roof. So an age of a roof, there's no way I'm upgrading a roof if it's 5 years old, if it's 10 years old, even if it's 15 years old. No, I want a rent-ready property, and if the roof is in good shape and it has another 5, 7, 10 years of life on it, there's no reason to do that. I was recently at a high-end, very high-end apartment community / townhouse community and home community behind a gate with a pool, golf course. And I was talking to the manager there, and they said because they have a homeowners association, in the next about 4 years, he said these roofs will be about 25 years old. We are going to ask the association to update all the roofs. So they had another few years of life on it. But you're monitoring them, right? And if you're having leaks come in multiple spots, time to put on a new roof. Yes, it's not really sexy for the tenant. The tenant is not looking at the roof every day, but it is long-term protection of your property. If you've got a leaky roof, it can lead to all kinds of problems inside the house, right? You can have then leaky windows. It can have drywall rot coming through the property. You can have black mold. You can have all kinds of issues. So just update the roof if you know it's near the end of its life. It's a big expense, but again, it's a tax write-off, but take care of that roof. It's very, very important. And number 6 on my list is electrical and plumbing. You can lump these together if you want, but updating the electrical in a house can be expensive. It's the stuff that you don't see, right? The tenant doesn't see the plumbing and the electric, but guess what? They know if it works, and you know if you're up to code from a safety perspective, making sure that all of your wiring is up to date in your rental property. Very, very important. And also having plumbing, the lines that aren't rotted, corroded, that are going to cause major damage in your property going forward. So anytime in a new property, we want to make sure that the electrical is up to code and it has been brought up to spec. If you're obviously finding old homes that have that old knob and tube wiring, yes, pull that stuff out, of course, and run all new wires in your house. Make sure that each area of the home is up to code in your particular township or city. You have to find that out. And the plumbing, right? We want to put in updated PEX plumbing. I like to pull out a lot of those old pipes. Sometimes if they're working fine, we don't pull them out. But in areas where we know we're going to have problems down the line, we want to pull that out, put in new PEX plumbing. It's fairly inexpensive. The most expensive part of it ends up being the labor involved in running that new plumbing. But by the way, if you have the walls off of your property already, you don't have the drywall up, then that's the easiest time to put in the new plumbing. That's the easiest time to put in the new electric on your property. So there you go. 6 key areas where, yes, you are going to spend a little bit more money in your property, but it's going to pay dividends in the long run, keeping your investment solid and sustained for many, many years to come. There's another video that I've done, another show you can check out, which is where we show you areas don't waste your money on certain areas. You can check that out as well. And be sure to download our Freedom Cheat Sheet. You can just go to morrisinvest.com/freedom, download it, and you click the link, and walks you through exactly how to figure out your path to financial freedom using passive income. It's the exact system that my wife and I used to figure out how many rental properties it would take for us to pay all of our monthly expenses. We'll see you back here next time with another episode. Now go out there, take action, become a real estate investor. I believe it's the #1 way to build wealth.